In this league are the motivations of basic needs: homeostatic, food and water; sexual, the erotic; protection, and the basis for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Why might the need to enjoy violence be added to this list? Consider a scenario much like Hobbes' state of nature. Early man driven by the above three instincts. We see the need for food, and for this there must be the need to hunt for food. The hunter will need to face danger in order to return with the kill. Whilst hunting, the hunter will fall under the influence of the fight or flight mechanism of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. If they fight and succeed, they may well receive a rush. Above this, there is likely to be an achievement of social reward for the hunter able to bring back the most food. This is the reward gained by showing strength and being a provider. This ideal of a strong man will be discussed in Chapter 4. Some scientists believe evolution has allowed the emotion some influence over the motivational process. This only indirectly affects the VSI and can't be referred to in Appendix 1 and can be referred to in Appendix 1. Applied to wrestling. No one actually beats anyone. You follow the script, you know your role. We can now use the above to theorise about possible motivations into why wrestlers do what they do and why some of us like watching them. Success and failure. Winning isn't the point. Doing your job and doing it well is all that matters. Here is a paradox for wrestlers. As admitted by the sports entertainment industry itself, the violence in the ring is staged, a very complicated, heavily choreographed dance. Professional wrestling is made up of showmanship and theatre. Wrestlers work to perform as actors. Although the actual matches are not rehearsed prior to the performance, the moves are dangerous, real, and made of extraordinary athletic achievement. Wrestlers do get hurt. The paradox is that the risk of getting hurt is not balanced by the potential for winning. It's winner's psychology. Neither wrestler can win nor lose. There is no real competition as the result is predetermined. Yet these people still risk great injury. So what is their motivation? This removal of competition and rules to govern that competition mean professional wrestling cannot be classed as a traditional sport. Kurt Angle in his biography talks several times about fear. My fear used to overcome me. He goes on to explain how he used to get complexes that sound almost superstitious, how he was unable to avoid his fear. Remarkably, his best matches are always fought when injured. He managed to gain the Olympic gold medal in the 1996 amateur wrestling category, where, although injured, he overcame his fear of failure, a fear that doesn't exist in the WWE, as he is working in a team. He is effectively working with his opponent in the ring to reach an already known target. High achievement motivation. To amplify the earlier question about motivation in professional wrestling, the literature all states that participants want to be the best, and their desire for this goes above any injury caused by physical damage to their bodies. This suggests that the wrestler ignores the press factor of catastrophe mentioned previously. The result of this we know to be key identifier of a high achievement motivation. Appendix 1. Information on related topics. From Chapter 1. A word on emotions. Evolution has definitely allowed emotions some influence over the motivational process. There are two areas in which the emotions may have some impact on the VSI. First, as already discussed, in the area of fear. Secondly, the emotions play a significant role in the psychology of our brains when they are made of anger, hostility or frustration. The brain control centre for emotions is the amygdala. Ledoux shows that the amygdala in movements of extreme emotion, often anger or rage, what we would generally call the heat of the moment, there comes as an emotional hijacking of the brain. It acts on impulse swiftly and before the main cortex has had a chance to assess any real danger, or to think through a logical and rational response to the stimuli. The amygdala is located in the limbic structure, one of the oldest parts of the brain, just slightly above that which controls your breathing and heart rate. Initially, it would have been the evolutionary precursor to consciousness, in a time when ancient humans first developed motivational behaviour away from the homeostatic drives. Hypothesis, those that can do. So from the above, I have gained enough information to make a simple argument. Athletes that are trained to perform dangerous sports will do so, will act on impulse to receive the rush through this process. These are called participants. Watchers too would all be participants if it wasn't for factors like ability and rationality and fear. Therefore they get enjoyment by watching, fantasising, or taking part in mock dangerous sports and occupations. If they have the courage, they may try out dangerous activities. They are able to receive the rush by suspension of disbelief, fantasy, and proving themselves through rites of passage. The VSI profile. There are many branches from this dissertation that I would like to continue further research into. Several include a more detailed study of professional wrestling and masculinity, a more detailed study of the morality of the VSI, and work on the violent video games, which has not been covered in any great depth throughout this paper. This paper's main arguments surround the VSI, where further research could go to look into why Gothic horror is no longer a satisfactory VSI expression, and a more detailed study of thrill-seeker psychology and personality types. In asking a number of local participants and watchers a few questions about my theory on the VSI, I was able to get data that on a much wider scale I am certain would allow development of a VSI personality scale. This would take a lot of work and be in itself the subject of a continuing piece of work along the same line as the dissertation, whose main subject would be the VSI. I would also like to have continued this work into self-expression and the VSI to learn and discover more about what type of outward self-expression would be linked with thrill-seeking. For example, would it be the case that there is a connection between the VSI and heavy tattooing or piercing as self-expression?